Hi, and welcome to week 4, the Trinity. Now, you may have noticed you can't see me very well. It's pretty dark on my face, but you can see outside. Today is Antiguan Independence Day, and so I thought I would move our filming outside as kind of a holiday feel since today is a national holiday. But this week, we're going to be exploring the Trinity, which is, as you can imagine, central to our Christian theology. The goals this week are to explain the historical development of the doctrine of the Trinity, to identify heretical understandings of the Trinity, to show the relevance and practical significance of the doctrine of the Trinity, and to locate key primary historical texts in the development of Christian doctrine. Now, you can imagine from this to be able to understand this doctrine, understand its historical development, and understand its misuse. We're going to have to look at context. We're going to have to look at our primary text for systematic theology, and we're going to need to spend time in the Word, and we're going to need to do some outside research. Now, assignment 4.1. A person for whom you are ministerially responsible struggles with the concept of the Trinity. They are actively pursuing their own spiritual formation, but wonder what this confusing, paradoxical doctrine has to do with their relationship to God. It seems like just one more irrelevant ivory tower doctrine. Write a 2-page letter to this person responding to their concerns, or develop a 2-page position paper. Now, as we've discussed before, whether you do a letter or whether you do a paper, I am looking for the same academic rigor and the same level of support. It's all the format within which you present the information. Are you presenting it in a letter, or are you presenting it in a paper format? But you still need to use footnotes, still need to engage with the textbook, still need to engage with biblical passages, and still need to engage with outside research. So either a letter or a paper in which you address the relationship between the doctrine of the Trinity and the practical life of the Christian. It's a great topic. It's one that we should all spend time on. To do it, you're going to need to understand how this doctrine of the Trinity, from an evangelical perspective, came to be, and how it has been and can be misunderstood and misused in a modern Christian context if we're not careful. Assignment 4.2, in 2 to 3 pages, evaluate the role of the doctrine of the Trinity as it plays out in Millard Erickson's overall systematic theology. Now, I might start with assignment 4.2 first, because that will allow you to outline what Erickson says about the doctrine of the Trinity. You have already read Erickson's discussion of this doctrine, and so I want you to go back through it, support your position with both Erickson and the Bible. Your survey should consider these kinds of questions. Examine the extent and depth of its coverage of the doctrine of the Trinity. So what does Erickson have to say? And if you look at other Logos versions of systematic theology and you consider their understanding of the Trinity, for instance, Grudem, how is it different, and what does Grudem or another theology highlight that Erickson does not? You also might understand its integration of the Trinity into the entire theological system. For instance, does the Trinity shape the order of topics or the presentations of particular sections of the theology? You also might consider its focus on practical or ecclesial implications, church implications of the Trinity, and any other matters that are relevant. To complete this assignment, you will need to scan or survey the rest of the volume. Note, you, of course, do not have to read all of Erickson's theology. Instead, use the table of contents, the index, and other tools to do a quick visual scan of all of Erickson's work. A logos search for the word Trinity in Erickson should be part of your work as well. You can report statistics, but also know where the term is used and what is its significant factor. Some of your conclusions of these larger issues may be impressionistic, but try to work within reasonable time limits and using support and evidence. Answer the following questions. What are the greatest misunderstandings? We moved on to our discussion post. Answer the following questions in a discussion post. What are the greatest misunderstandings or confusions about the Trinity that we find in the contemporary church? How do these misunderstandings present themselves, and what factors contribute to these misunderstandings? Now, with that, you're going to have to use some personal reflection and your experience within the church. However, I am still looking for research and you might Google misunderstandings or confusions about the Trinity and bring in different types of misunderstandings and discussions. As always, our first post is due on Friday at midnight with ongoing engagement in discussion over the weekend. Then finally, continue assignment 7.3, which we're in week 4. It's coming up quickly. Continue to work on your theological synthesis and complete your summary for the doctrine of God's person. A couple of last thoughts. Be sure to use quotes from your reading, outside research, and biblical support for the body of your posts and your papers. I felt like week 2 and week 3 were much better, but I want to continue to drive that point home. Please put your name in the file name of assignments and email me or call me with any questions. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to finding out what you discover about the Trinity this week, and have a blessed day.